Hello, it is day 23 of my coaching Christmas calendar, and today is all about learning to say no. So in a world where I think that kindness is the greatest gift that we can give each other, the tendency is to want to say yes to other people. Yet sometimes saying no is the right and kind thing to do for ourselves. So if that sounds familiar with you and you struggle with saying no to people or requests, I've got a few ideas here. So the first thing to remember is that if you are struggling at saying no, this is going to be a change for you. So, and with all changes, you need to build your confidence in doing something new and practice. So practice saying no out loud. So whether that's in front of the mirror, in the shower, walking the dog, or to a friend, let them know obviously what you're doing. And it doesn't have to be a shouty no. It just needs to be a firm, clear no. Okay, and if the first time you want to start saying no, maybe try by doing that by email or phone if you find that face-to-face might be a little bit too awkward that first few times. The next thing to do is to get a couple of ready-made statements and practice saying those out loud as well, just so you're used to the words coming out of your mouth. So it could be something like, oh, I wish I could, except now isn't a good time for me, or this isn't doable for me, or can I get back to you on that? So have those statements readily prepared in your head so that you can say them out loud. And then another way is to take away that personal element. So if you think about you're saying no to a person, remove the personal element and think of it as saying no to a request of an ask of you. So the request is of you, and so you're not saying no to the person, you're saying no to the request, the ask. Also, learning to say no can be really powerful and really helpful if you can recognise the positive intent behind it. So if somebody's asking you to do something and you just don't have the time, you don't have the capacity or the energy to do it, and you know that somebody else might be able to do it much better than you, by saying no and letting somebody know that positive intent behind it, it's actually they're going to get a better job done if you don't say yes to it. Another way is also to stop making those assumptions. So we all make assumptions about people, it's only natural. And by saying no, we're probably assuming that the person is going to be disappointed with us, angry or upset. Now, why not just check in with them? You might be pleasantly surprised. They might say, well, I've got somebody else I can ask, but not to worry, thank you. But if they do say, oh yeah, I am disappointed, well, acknowledge their disappointment, let them know of your reason and that positive intent behind them, but just keep with your firm no. There's also your values. So we talked a little bit about values and knowing what's important to you. So sometimes if you say yes to something and you start feeling a little bit uncomfortable, you might not, one of your core values might be sort of triggered. It might not be being met if that sort of uncomfortable feeling comes up. So check in what your values are. And then finally, when you're saying yes to something, what are you actually saying no to? So what are you giving up? So that could be that because you've said yes to something else, you then don't have the time to have dinner with your family, read your children a bedtime story, maybe go for a walk or go to the gym, or even complete that piece of work that you've promised yourself you want to do by a deadline. So by saying yes, what are you actually saying no to? So by saying no, what could you actually gain? See you tomorrow for my final day. Bye.